Welcome to Mother Daughter Projects. I'm Steph, and today I'm going to show you how I built this DIY sofa. So we've already made one video about this, and I actually explained why I got this sofa and about the Home Reserve company that makes this brand. And so today I'm going to be showing you the process of building the actual frame of the sofa, and I'm going to start with the Ottomans because in that first video I actually started by building the armless, which is what the majority of the sofa is made out of. Now, make sure you stay till the end because there were some missing and broken pieces in some of those initial sets that I got. So I'll explain all of that in the What We Learned section. All right, let's get building.
All the boxes have arrived. Each piece comes in its own box. They are all very efficiently packed and easy to carry by an individual. No team lift needed. I was lucky enough to catch the UPS driver and had him stack them in the garage. I thought I would start with the easiest one first to get me started. This is the standard Ottoman. The first thing I noticed was the foam was in the box with no wrapping around it and it was a little dirty, which was a little unsettling, but I knew that it would be covered so it wouldn't be an issue. I carefully unboxed everything and made sure I had everything I needed in the box. We are going to paint all the individual pieces before we put together any of the frames. So off camera we sanded and painted the Ottoman frame parts. First I stuffed the cushions, so here I'm folding the fabric right side out. I made sure to push all the corners out. I laid out the white silky material and then wrapped it around the cushion. This material is provided to help slide the foam into the cover. I also noticed the bottom side of the foam was a little discolored, which Mom said was a sign that it had probably been exposed to the sun or heat. I didn't request a replacement foam, but we'll be curious to see if this one starts to have a shorter life than the others that didn't have damage. But I will say all the other foam that I received was clean and free of discoloration. When I first got started, I was skeptical that it would be easy to get smooth lines on all the cushions, but after watching the beauty tips videos, I was able to get all the cushions smooth pretty quickly without any frustration. For both the Ottomans, you fold the foam in half and slide it all the way into the cover. Then you just zip it up and the zipper hides nicely in the corner. The top section of the fabric here is where a piece of wood will fit into the bottom to make it more rigid when it fits onto the frame. Once the Ottoman frame was dry, I started by adding the T-connectors. I will say after building everything, I found part 2 and 3 to be the weakest parts of any of the pieces in the furniture. They have little bottom pieces that are particularly fragile, and actually one of these came broken because it's a weak point. But once everything is connected, the frame itself does seem nice and strong. You can see here I was struggling to get it in place and had to use a mallet, being careful not to break the corner piece off. The instructions were very straightforward for this and for all the modular pieces. The last step is time consuming, but again, not as hard as I thought it would be. In my advice, take it slow. You want to pull the fabric down a little bit at a time on each side to make sure it's nice and smooth. And lastly, there are flaps inside with Velcro that you secure to the bottom so the fabric remains nice and smooth. And then I put the bottom piece in place. With that completed, I went on to unbox the next piece, that being the left arm. Coming up in this video, I'll show how to build the arm piece and then quickly show how to build the armless piece since we already showed that in the first video. Make sure to lay the box down before opening, then start to unbox. You can see the cushions come compressed on top, then the fabric, which has the instructions and hardware bag inside. Then there's a cardboard divider, then the wood that make up the arm pieces, then another cardboard divider, and then the armless. Next, I open the cushions. You can see when the bag is open, they start to expand. This is the back cushion and the top rail. This is the arm foam and the seat cushion. By the way, this was spring break for my nibblings and the 3 of them were in town for a visit. Then I followed the same process for unboxing all the rest of the pieces. I only unboxed a few at a time, making sure to keep all the pieces together so that nothing was misplaced. After we unboxed a unit, Mom and I would sand it with 150 grit sandpaper. There was 1 sheet of sandpaper and 1 set of gloves included with every unit. We think the sanding stage is necessary as there are some rough spots that make it difficult to assemble without sanding. Once everything was sanded, we set up the garage for painting. We used every surface to place the wood pieces so that they would have a place to dry once painted. We found the best process was Mom would paint, and I would switch out the painted ones with unpainted ones. We let this side dry a few hours to a day, and then flipped it over and painted the other side. While everything was drying in the garage, I assembled the cushions. This was the one I was worried about the most, as it's the corner ottoman and very large. But after I was successful with the standard ottoman, I had plenty of confidence for this one. I laid out the silky material and had a little disruption, but I found someone to hold Mac so I could do this step. Just like the standard ottoman, I wrapped the cushion and folded it in half. My biggest advice is to make sure you have a nice big clean surface to do this on, but again, it wasn't that difficult, it just took a little bit of time to make sure everything was properly in place. The fabric we have for the entire sectional is from the Easy Living collection. This is machine washable and stain resistant and more of the higher priced fabrics. With that said, I don't know if the fabric from the Essential collection or the Exclusive collection would be just as seamless to assemble, but I have to assume it would be. And you can find more information about these 3 different fabric collections on Home Reserve's website. I moved on to assemble the corner ottoman, and the process is pretty much the same for all the furniture. You add the T-connectors, then the floor glides, then start screwing the frame together. Again, I took it slow to add the fabric to the frame, but it was just as straightforward as a smaller ottoman. I took the frame inside to finish the assembly. I added the bottom pieces and they snapped together nice and tight in the middle. And look how much storage there is inside. Then I slid the 2 wood pieces into the pockets in the cushion cover. This will allow the top to fit nicely into the frame. Back in the garage, I'm going to assemble an arm. I think the arms might be the most difficult pieces to assemble because there are a lot of small wood pieces. I had difficulty adding the T-connectors into these first pieces, and I think it's harder to get smoother cuts on these small pieces at the factory. Another issue we had was a lot of rain during this time that we were painting these, so I think the humidity might have created a little swelling in some of these pieces. Part 3 and 4 are the feet parts of the arm. And once these 4 pieces are attached to the side, you add the other side, and this part is a little challenging as it's hard to get all of the spots to fit in, but I did and then screwed everything down. I highly recommend a drill driver for all these steps. The arm is done! Now onto the armless, which is the majority of the builds of the sectional sofa. We found it best to attach the small and large pieces of the sides together before painting because we found it challenging to connect them after they were painted. And then I attached the floor glides and T-connectors at the same time to the sides. So this is just a quick look at the frame coming together as I assembled one of these in the first video. Be careful with the bottom edge to make sure the fabric is nice and smooth because I realized too late with one of these after they were all attached together and had to unattach them to fix that bottom section. Back to the arm. I positioned the arm foam into the arm frame. There's a little lip on top where it fits in perfectly. Then look, our favorite silky material yet again. This goes over the foam so that the fabric is easier to put into place. Just like the ottoman, you want to take it slow and pull each side a little bit at a time. And this has the same Velcro at the bottom to make sure it stays nice and smooth. Take note that there are pre-made cut out circles on the one side of the fabric, and these will line up with the holes on the side where it will attach to the armless unit. Also, the holes are on either side of the wood, so don't stress about trying to get these lined up. I took both pieces inside to attach them together. You want to tip the armless and the arm on the side and then add 2 connector bolts. The two bolts have prongs on them that will line up with two smaller holes, then you place a washer and tighten the wing nut. These are the same connector bolts you use to assemble the entire sectional together. This one is ready to go. We continued the same process. This time my niece helped me unbox the rest of the units. While we were painting all the wood in the garage, I assembled the rest of the cushions in my house. Here is a back cushion for the left or right sectional piece. You can see the back cushion has a rounded corner to fit into the arm. The back cushions are the easiest to assemble. You literally just stuff them in, zip them up, and fluff them up. They recommend striking it on the floor a few times with several good whops. My oldest nephew helped me out with this. With that done, we stuff the bottom cushion. The biggest thing here is to make sure the rounded edge of the cover lines up with the rounded edge of the foam. Make sure all the edges are filled before moving on to the next step. So I took my time stuffing it in, then zipped up the rest of the cushion. The zipper fits nicely into the rounded section. All the covers come inside out with the zippers closed, but you just pull the zipper apart and turn it right side out. This is the last type of cushion. This is the back cushion for an armless. And again, you stuff it, zip it, and fluff it, with a couple good whops on the floor. And if you're wondering what that yellow thing was in front of the camera, my middle nephew was showing me a Lego set he had just built. For the last two armless, my friend Jason was in town, so I thought it would be fun and efficient to show him how to build an armless, so I only had to do one more.
What we learned. Now, like I said at the beginning, there were some missing and broken pieces, so that's why it's really important to open each box and check everything. So I'll quickly talk about what those were. Number one, the Ottoman, the part 3 was broken. The little part I talked about in the video that was pretty weak, that came broken. The hardware pack was missing from the corner Ottoman. The hardware pack was missing from one of the arms, and 2 of the foam pieces that go on the armless were kind of misshapen. They probably would have worked, but they look different than the other ones. So I contacted Home Reserve with all this, and they responded really quickly, and they shipped it right out to me. I didn't have to send them the broken pieces, anything. They were really quick on the customer service, so highly recommend just contacting them because they'll take care of it right away. I will say they work Monday through Friday, so if you contact them on the weekend, you probably won't hear till Monday. So just keep that in mind. Just give them an email on Monday or call them and they'll take care of you right away. So after I finished the whole sofa, I actually realized I wanted a little bit bigger sofa and there was room for it. So I actually ordered another armless and standard Ottoman, and so that's what you see today is the completed version, which I really think is perfect. But that's what's nice is this is modular, so you can easily add to it at any time. It's kind of like a furniture version of Lego, which I love Lego, so it's perfect for me. Now I will say when we ordered the last 2 pieces, they were a little bit more expensive than the initial time we ordered. And this is April 2022, so inflation's at the all-time high, so that's just kind of standard all around. But these are the prices of everything. I broke it down here, and this is the full price that we paid for everything. And by we, I mean I, because this is my house. Now you saw that we painted the wood in this video, and that's because we realized during the first video that the smell was really strong on the OSB wood. So we always had the garage open, we also had air filter on, so keep that in mind to have nice ventilation so that smell can kind of dissipate.
Hey Steph, now that you're an expert, you built all of these. I wasn't involved in the building at all. So what was your favorite piece to build?
Well, that's a good question. Mom was there. She was helping me paint and sand. She was a rock star with all that. I would probably say my favorite was maybe the standard Ottoman, although everything was really fun. Like that was part of this, it was super fun to build. When I built the last 2 pieces, I built them like so quick, and then I was kind of sad because I was like, I don't have any left to build. So in all, I built 6 armless, 2 arms, 2 standard Ottomans, and a corner Ottoman. So I'm not saying I'm an expert, but I will say it's fun. And so if you get this, I think you're gonna have fun with it. It's a fun build, and it's really empowering to know how your sofa goes together. So if something happens to it, you know how to fix it, and Home Reserve has a warranty for 10 years on this, so they will send you the parts to fix it. This is the second video in the series on the Home Reserve sofa. I'll put a link to everything in the description, and in the next video I'm going to show you how everything goes together, because each of these pieces are attached together and this is nice and solid, one sectional piece. So thanks for joining, and if you have any questions, let us know in the comments. If you want to see more projects from us, be sure to visit us at mother.projects.com. Thanks for joining. Bye!